Oh boy, where do I start? I wrote so many stories, most of them when I was broke and desperate, cranking them out for a few $100s each. Do androids dream of electric sheep? That's probably the one people know best now, especially after they made Blade Runner from it. The idea came from thinking about empathy as the defining human characteristic. I was obsessed with this question. What if we created artificial beings so sophisticated that the only way to tell them apart from humans was through an empathy test? But then, and this was the kicker, what if some humans failed that test too? The bounty hunter Deckard starts questioning his own humanity. I was fascinated by the irony of a world where artificial beings might be more human than actual humans. The Minority Report came from my paranoia about authority and prediction. What if we could predict crimes before they happened? Sounds great, right? But what if the system was fallible? What if knowing about a future crime actually changed that future? I loved the paradox, and the deeper question of whether we have free will, or if we're just acting out a predetermined script. We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, which became Total Recall, grew out of my terror of false memories. What if your entire identity was based on implanted experiences? What if you discovered your whole life was a lie? I'd wake up some mornings genuinely unsure if my memories from the day before were real. That story was me working through that anxiety. The Man in the High Castle was different alternate history rather than future SF. I was haunted by the question, what if the Nazis had won World War II? But the real twist was the book within the book, where characters read a novel about our reality where the Allies won. I was playing with the idea that maybe our world is just as fictional as theirs. A Scanner Darkly was the most personal about drug addiction and surveillance and the disintegration of identity. The scramble suits, the constant monitoring, the protagonist who's surveilling himself without knowing it. I was writing about America in the 1970s, but making it explicit rather than hidden. The ideas usually came from taking contemporary anxieties and pushing them to their logical extreme. I was always asking, what's the worst that could happen? And then, what if it's already happening and we just don't know it?